Hey everyone, and welcome to What Did I Miss?, where today I'll be breaking down the 7th episode of the final season of Star Trek Discovery, titled Erigah. This episode was a nice departure from the Clue of the Week episodes that we have been getting for most of the season, as the audience got a chance to learn more about the mysterious Breen. After this season's villains, Mol and L'ak, are captured by Starfleet, and the Breen follow them to Starfleet headquarters. This episode also allows some of the best characters that Discovery has produced to shine, as they try to devise an outcome that is best for the needs of the many and the few. But before I get into the episode, I would like to thank you for clicking on this video, and ask that if you do enjoy it, to please hit that like button, as it does a lot to help support my small channel. So first, I will get into my review and breakdown of the episode. If you'd like to just skip to the Easter eggs, there are time codes in the description below. So, in my last few episode reviews, I mentioned how I felt this season of Discovery had become sort of mundane, since it seemed like each week we would go find a new clue, but not really explore why the clues or even the mission are important. Which is why I enjoyed this episode, since we were allowed a break from the endless fetch quests and got to learn more about the characters and what makes the story significant to them. I think that L'ak and Mol are becoming two of my favorite big bads that Discovery has ever created because of how complex their story has become. In many ways, they mirror the relationship between Burnham and Booker if Burnham did not have Starfleet to fall back on. And I think that seeing them is what will bring Burnham and Booker back together eventually, which makes for some believable character development. Some of the big bads that Star Trek Discovery has had have really been swings and misses, and they're really forgettable. But I think that L'ak and Mol stand out because they're very believable villains. You know, their motivations are believable. L'ak is a prince that doesn't want to be a prince, and we've definitely heard that story before. But the fact that, they are a couple that really care about each other and can't be apart from each other, I think you have to have some kind of empathy for them. Even though you recognize them as villains, you have empathy for the way they feel about each other and the circumstances that have led them to this moment. So I really like them. I think they're complex villains. They're not just your pure bad guy. They definitely have motivation to them. And I really like them. I think that they were a good choice for this season of Discovery. I really like that we got to see Tig Notaro return as Reno this week, and she continues to be a character that you just want to see more of. After learning about their rather eclectic history in this episode, I would not be surprised if Reno was not a human and was in fact a Lanthanite, like Pelia from the series Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So spoilers, I guess, for the second season of Strange New Worlds, if you haven't seen it yet. But during that season, they introduce a new character named Pelia, and throughout the season we learn that she's not a human, she's actually an alien race known as a Lanthanite, which they basically look exactly like humans, but they live really long lives. I don't know if they even said how long they can live, but she may have been living almost 1,000 years or something like that. So they don't age, and they're kind of like gruff characters, and Pelia and Reno have sort of similar personalities. They're kind of rough around the edges, but they're very endearing, and you definitely, want to see more of them. Carol Kane does a great job as Pelia on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I think Tig Notaro does a great job basically just playing herself as Reno. I thought she was really funny. Last season, I think because of scheduling and everything, I don't think we got to see that much of Reno, and we're definitely seeing more of Reno this season, and I am a fan of that. I'm a fan of Reno, and hopefully they come back for Starfleet Academy. I would love to see Tig Notaro continue on as this character because they're really great. I really think that it's great comic relief, and I enjoy Reno's interactions with the different characters on the ship. Speaking of characters on the ship, even though Saru is missing again from this episode, I thought this entry did give many of these side characters on Discovery some screen time, and I really enjoyed that. There's really an ensemble cast when you look at Discovery. I know that Sonequa Martin Green as Michael Burnham is the lead, but the supporting characters definitely make up a lot of the plot, and sometimes they can get lost from week to week. And this week, we definitely got to see some really good interactions. I liked Booker helping Stamets out, because it showed how far Stamets' character has come since we first met him in the first season. I can't imagine him accepting help from anybody in the first season, and having somebody who's not even really in Starfleet, not in his field, help Stamets. I think that really showed what, being a family man and what the past few years have done to Stamets' character. And I thought that was really good character building, and I really liked that. I also thought that it seemed like Tilly is even getting tired of Adira and tried to give them some confidence this week. So hopefully Adira's character will grow and will not be so, unsure of themselves. I did think that was Tilly. Like her reaction to Adira was kind of like, come on, like get it together. It's been a while now. You should have this down. Like just, believe in yourself. I thought that was pretty good. And And of course, they're continuing to showcase Tilly. I pretty much mentioned every week how I like her performance this season, and I definitely think it's leading up to her being on Starfleet Academy. Paramount hasn't confirmed that she is returning on Starfleet Academy, but as I've said, I think that's just because they don't want to give away anything about this season of Discovery. I'm sure that when Discovery is over, they're going to confirm that she is moving on to Starfleet Academy, and I look forward to that. If she wasn't a part of Starfleet Academy, I don't know if I would want to watch it at all. Maybe the fact that Mary Weissman will be, Tilly once more on Starfleet Academy definitely gets me to watch the first few episodes. So I really like the side characters in Discovery. I liked how they were showcased a little bit this week, and I hope that for the rest of the season we get more of that. We also learned that Rayner has a past connection to the Breen, which makes his character more vital to the story. I still think that we are moving toward him making a huge sacrifice at some point this season. I was thinking about this, and there's a scene from the trailer for this season where it shows a close-up on Rayner's face, and he's like screaming in pain, and it looks like he's on the bridge of a starship. Doesn't have to be Discovery, but it does look like he is on a Starfleet vessel. I think that scene may be his sacrifice, like he's ramming a ship into something. Think about Randy Quaid from Independence Day, some kind of scene like that. I could see Rayner going out in a blaze of glory, especially now that we know that he has this connection to the Breen and they killed his family, so I'm sure he would be fine going out, taking them out. I definitely see that for his character. But until then, I enjoy his character on the show, and I'm glad that they added him to this last season of Discovery. I also enjoyed the resolution for this episode and how Burnham used the Breen's own mistrust towards one another against them, which I thought was a very Star Trek-like ending. This was a story where no shots were fired at the end. It just basically turned into a poker game between Burnham and the Breen, and she was able to bluff her way out of it. So I really liked that. It was, like I said, a very Star Trek ending and a good way to end this episode. So all in all, I enjoyed the character work and the world building done in this episode. Season-long storylines that require continual movement towards something need a break so the audience can catch their breath and learn why this trip is even important. This is something that I think Discovery has not always done in the past, especially last season, as I believe that the writers have always been very heavy-handed in their notion that it isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey. That is all well and good, but if the destination is not made meaningful throughout the journey, then by the end the audience does not even know why they should care. And I know that this is what happened to me last season on Discovery. By the end of that season, I did not care at all about what was going on because I don't think they did enough during the season to make the audience care. And I think that they are learning from that mistake and doing more character building and world building as to why you should care about this thing that they're chasing after in this season. So I think by taking this episode as well as a few others to stop the chase and to take time to learn about the characters and how they've been affected makes the entire journey and the destination significant. So it's more of a like Lord of the Rings kind of thing. Like it can't just be about the journey. You have to really care about the destination as well. And I think that this season is doing more of that because now that we know about L'ak and Mol and what's going on with them, and now they're on the side of the Breen, so now we're not only chasing this thing, but we're chasing Mol, who now has the Breen behind her, and her motivations are sort of believable. I know that she's trying to raise somebody from the dead, but the fact that she thinks that by getting this thing, she'll get L'ak back, it makes her believable and kind of sympathetic as a villain. So again, I just think they're doing a really good job with those two characters, and this season is going well so far. So all in all, maybe not my favorite episode this season, maybe number 2 or number 3 puts it in definitely the top 50% or 60%, whatever the season, but I like this episode. So let me know in the comments, did you agree with me? Did you like this episode, or did you think something else? Were you not a fan? Let me know in the comments below. So now I'm going to talk about the Easter eggs for this episode. There weren't that many, just warning you. If you saw any that I missed, please let me know because I didn't think there were that many, but this is what I found. So this episode told us a lot about the Breen, a mysterious alien race that was first mentioned on Star Trek The Next Generation, but did not appear on screen until the Deep Space Nine episode, Indiscretion. Commander Rayner at one point repeats a Romulan saying, "Never turn your back on a Breen," which a Romulan prisoner utters in the DS9 episode titled By Inferno's Light. The Breen were a major power during the Dominion War and even assaulted Earth at one point in the DS9 episode The Changing Face of Evil, where they attacked Starfleet headquarters and in turn almost destroyed the city of San Francisco. An event that is referenced by Tilly in this episode when she states that the last time the Breen paid a visit to the Federation, they destroyed a city. The character Nan returns for this episode and is played once again by Rachel Ancherel. She was last seen in the Season 4 Discovery episode, Rubicon. In one of the funnier lines from this episode, Reno reveals that she was a bartender and made a drink that she called the Seven of Limes, which is an obvious reference to Seven of Nine, a character first introduced on Star Trek Voyager. The Betazoid scientist that wrote the manuscript is named Dr. Marina Derricks, an homage to actress Marina Sirtis, who played the most important Betazoid in Star Trek, Deanna Troi. At the end of this episode, the crew learn that they have to travel to an area of space known as the Badlands. This location is very important to the series Star Trek Voyager, as this is where the USS Voyager, along with a Maquis ship and their crews, were taken to the Delta Quadrant in the very first episode of Star Trek Voyager named Caretaker. That was everything I saw. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to hit that like button before you go, and I'll see you next time on What Did I Miss?